Alright guys, before today's episode, just to let you know that my stand-up comedy special is out now, recorded live from the King's Theatre in Glasgow this March. It's finally out and you can watch it on the Some Laugh YouTube channel, which you're watching this on right here.
Mm-hmm. And it's excellent.
It's very good.
That's nice.
One of my favourite comics in the game.
I went to see it live.
Yep, you did indeed. There's actually some...
Very good.
We didn't end up using the crowd cutaway shots that we did get some. And you're in it.
But
we didn't use any of them.
Because I wasn't. Was I not laughing?
No.
Some celebrities in tonight.
Who we got here?
I might actually just release that footage, like a wee clip of it or something.
That's
just
funny.
Steve laughing away.
It'd be funny if me rolling my eyes or something like that. Fuck's sake.
Yeah,
this.
I gave him that one actually. Mine's is filmed by a good friend of mine and the editor of this podcast, Nicholas Afchain. Shout out to Nick for his great
Nick,
work.
great
It was quite the production. I feel like it's we had 7 cameras and like it looks like it's pretty legit. So I'm really excited to put it out. I hope you guys enjoy it.
You're going to print off the DVDs?
I'm going to print off the sleeve. You can get a sleeve and you can put it in a DVD case or a CD case if you would like.
I'm putting mine down the barrels at the porno stall.
But yeah, we just put it out on the Some Laugh YouTube channel for you guys to enjoy. Please do share it and tell your pals and do everything you can to get more eyeballs on it, and hopefully more people can find out about the pod as well. But yeah, hope you enjoyed the stand-up special, guys. Please check it out now. Mark Jennings' original sound, recorded at the King's Theatre in Glasgow. And aside from that, please remember, just sign up to the Patreon for more episodes. And aside from that, enjoy today's episode.
Enjoy.
Guys.
Welcome to the Some Laugh podcast.
It could be like, oh, that was some laugh, or there was just some laughs.
Well, no promising all laugh.
No, there's going to be some.
It's some laugh.
It's weird because you guys, you all really ought to say, now we're started. Because it blends from just having fun conversation.
That's the point.
No, because the idea, right, is that it's meant to be as if, that way when you're out with your mates and you went up to the bar to get a pint, then you come back and it's mid-convo. The start's meant to be as if you just...
I love when I'm out with my mates and I go for a drink and then one of them says, is there anything you don't want us to talk about?
You get off for a half and you come back and it's entrapment.
Well, you say that, right, but you don't fucking drink, Liam. So
wow, okay.
I don't know, this is maybe a different... You're not missing anything, maybe that's why.
I have drank, though, in my life.
Yes, famously, some would say.
Had my card revoked.
What do you think is the maddest thing you ever done drinking? Like, because this is a thing. I think we spoke about this before.
We're going in here.
Because you said that people used to say to you when you stopped drinking, "Oh, you weren't that bad a drinker,"
which I now think's mental.
Aye.
When I think of when you said what's some of the maddest things you did, I'm like,
because I remember you when you drank and you're a wanker.
Do you think so?
No, but there was one time when I turned up to Red Raw, and you and Gus were both a wee bit Billy Big Boys, and Nick, who edits this podcast now, was there, and he remembered you.
Yeah, thought it was a dick.
Yeah, but I was like, Liam's opening for the Kings. He's sound now.
No. What was I doing?
I think it was something like, you said something like, because Monday night's Red Raw in Edinburgh, and you said something like, oh yeah, Monday night, that's the night off for comedians because we work the weekends. It was some actual bit like, you're a wee guy. But I was, you didn't know me.
Do you know what's funny though? So I haven't drank in 8 years. This must have been over 8 years ago.
I would have been, aye.
When my career was not. It's so. Do you know what I mean? I wasn't in a position to be showing off about working.
No.
Do you know what I mean? It was obviously just a bit of
lad banter.
That's it.
But some fucking stupid things happened. I know immediately what one of the stupidest things.
Go on.
Is that So I abseiled off the 4th Row Bridge whilst out my nut.
Was it like set up? Was it an
so
event?
It was this.
No, just randomly.
Put some ties together.
You know what I mean? You're a gaff at 4 a.m. You're like, let's go and fucking abseil down the bridge.
It's not that far from that, really. So it was a charity thing that I'd signed up for, and the night before, I just ended up on this mad session, and was up until I was up and we were supposed to be there at like 8 a.m. or something, and I had not been asleep. and I was just completely out my fucking nut. And my girlfriend at the time came to pick me up at his house just afters, where I still was, at 7 a.m. And she was like, "You've not slept." And I'm like, "Fuck 'em. Let's go to the bridge." You know? We had to get a train out to South Queensferry. I was so fucked on this train that I remember. Well, I only vaguely remember, but I was just you don't really, even though you're not really a drugs guy.
No.
And you guys aren't really big drugs guys either. You have, I think, maybe experimented.
Tried half an ecstasy tablet before, so I've done it. I know what you're talking about.
I am, but I'm not.
So
I know what you're talking about.
There was a point where I had just taken far too much stuff, and your brain just goes a bit frazzled.
Aye.
And I'd been up all night, and so I was on this train, and I remember speaking to my girlfriend, and I just didn't really know where I was. And she said the next day, she said, "Well, you looked at me and you went, babe, everyone's facing the wrong way. There's no microphone. We're about to die on our ass here."
She was not a comedian either, was she?
No. So I was just that fucked that I thought that this train carriage at 8 a.m. was like a gig. And I was just like, thought we were going to die on our ass. And then she's like, "What the fuck are you talking about, Liam? We're on a train. You're about to abseil off a bridge."
It's actually beneath me. I usually take trains at the weekend. You know, this is...
No, Liam, it's a Monday. It's a day off.
And then I got to the event, and there's like 200 people like taking part in this charity abseil, and there's a pub next to it, and so I got a Guinness and sat, and then the organizer came up and went, "You're not supposed to have a drink before you go.
It's crazy.
Just put that down." And then they basically,
Imagine the state of you when he said that to you as well. Sweating,
that is
going
the
and
least
going.
of your worries. And then they just, they went right this way, and I just followed this big line of people, and we got a helmet, and they attached us to the thing, and it's an abseil, but it's not. You're not doing it.
No.
You know what I mean? It's like a charity thing, so there's someone else basically controlling your thing, and then I fucking
You're just like that Boris Johnson on the zip line, just getting
just like fucking being dragged down. And then I was like still pretty out of it, and I was like fucking brought down the 4th Row Bridge.
Oh my fucking god.
Which
That's hilarious.
It is hilarious, but like genuinely, it's really like I look back and like that was so daft. Like genuinely, it could have been like, Monday night comedian dies at 4th Row Bridge drug accident.
But if they're controlling it, then is it that dangerous?
I think it's still pretty. I think you're not supposed to be on MDMA when you're doing it, regardless. So yeah, that's one of the dumbest things.
I know. Let's see. I always remember one time I went to the gym steaming.
That's
But
crazy.
I was about 16. I know. I know it's not quite that, but it's just like weird today an activity because I think what had happened was I was about 16 or something like that. We just started going to the gym, me and my mate drove a van, and he was like proper into the gym, and we were watching. It was like Celtic were playing the Champions League, and it must have been an early kick-off because it finished probably about 7:30. And then so we just went to the gym after it. But I'd had like 2 pints in the pub watching the game. And I'm just like in the bench, like going, "This feels weird."
Yeah, I've
as
done
fuck.
that as well. It is a fucking weird feeling.
Right, but
It's called balance, honey.
yeah, this is what I mean. When people were like, "Oh, you weren't that bad," I'm like, "Well,
But you were getting spotted.
that story
basically.
is 2 pints."
Aye, yeah.
I had 2 pints and then went to the gym.
That was your warm up.
It's not really
He thought he was
comparable.
doing a gig on a train and then was dropped into the 4th sea by a stranger.
Halfway through one of your pull-ups, did you look around and go, "I'm about to die my ass in this gym"?
That was a Monday. That was Monday.
Yeah, so but that was a fucking long time ago now. As I said, it was 8 years
Aye.
ago. So it's crazy to think that was. I didn't think that was that crazy at the time. I was just like, it was just.
Do you feel like a totally different guy now?
Yeah, I feel like it's a different. I don't know that person.
Aye.
Was that your rock bottom?
Until they pulled him back
Yeah.
up.
Literally at the bottom of a rock.
No, I carried on drinking for a good few years after that. Yeah,
That was like one of them highlights.
That was a peak.
Yeah, that was like, that was a laugh.
no, yeah, well, that wasn't a laugh. Like I remember. Here's the thing: when that happened, like I knew it was funny.
Did you do that as a bit on stage?
No, I've never really
You
spoken
should do
like that. The thing is, I found with telling drug or drunk stories on stage is that it either comes across as boasting or just kind of unbelievable.
It's funny that people. I know what you mean, but why would it be a boast?
Yeah. Or and my life's crazy.
Aye.
Yeah, I hate when people
It's
talk
annoying.
about getting high and doing something crazy. I'm just Like, shut up. Like, you know, when Seth Rogen talks
Yeah.
about it all the
Especially
It's
when,
always
like,
America, isn't
if
it?
you've been that high, you know that you don't really do crazy stuff after weed. You just sort of stare at videos on YouTube.
Especially now it's legal as well in America and all that, and then they're like, if you're boasting, and it's like, it's not really a big deal, is it? No?
And he's like fucking 50. Seth Rogen.
Yeah,
Go up.
all right, yeah. Exactly, yeah.
I mean, he's welcome on the pod.
I
but-
don't, I would have them on. I like them.
Do you think that's like the sort of like alcoholics equivalent of like, you know how people sometimes like talk about, oh, don't be saying something you should be saying to a therapist in comedy? Is that like the, oh, you should be talking about this in Alcoholics Anonymous, no on a stage kind of thing?
Well,
Is that similar?
no, I mean, I did a whole show about giving up booze,
Aye.
you know, so I just, if that feels so long ago now that
Aye.
it does feel a bit weird for me to suddenly do this story about, yeah,
Because
right.
you're detached from it.
Yeah, yeah. It'd be like, you know, when you see, sometimes I see people who are our age talking about school in this like really serious way, like, oh, I hate that guy. He was dick to me in maths class, and I'm like,
Grow up.
it was 15 years ago.
Aye, and it's funny because I can barely remember loads of stuff in high school now, and and so sometimes you hear the odd reference to something from high school times, and it's like, oh, it's good in a wee nostalgia way, but also like when it's people's go-to references, I think it's weird because it's like, it just feels like so much things have passed that
They've peaked in high school, maybe, and that's all
Possibly.
they've got to talk
You might not
about.
have kissed that arse after all.
that's it. Well, that was primary school.
The best clip from any podcast was Mark Jennings kissing the boy's bum.
It's never far from my mind. That.
Yeah, this is far from my mind as I can possibly get it. To be fair.
Would you say that was rock bottom for you, man?
No, I went on kissing asses for years after that. Have you ever kissed an ass? Have you ever had any weird shit for being away and like that? Like, what's the weirdest thing you've done when you're a wee guy?
What a question! It's so
We should say
funny.
as well, if you're a new listener, Liam has been on before and you told many funny stories about your childhood in that, so I'll go back to that as well. The Barry Fry one.
The Barry Fry
Classic.
way. That is one of the best stories we've had on here.
Yeah, it was funny because I remember you posted the clip and you you could tell it sort of reached a new audience when there was the "didn't happen" brigade.
Aye.
Oh, really?
Yeah, there was
I fucking
there
hate
was
those cunts, man.
comments on "didn't happen," made that up, which I fully expect would then be on the Fourth Row Bridge MDMA hanging off. It didn't happen,
Didn't
made
happen.
up.
Yeah.
The most boring bastards in the planet.
Aye. Well, that's what because Gary Little said to us that when we put that clip out of him talking about being in jail and writing the letters to women, he was checking the comments and there's loads of didn't happens, and I was saying to him, I was like, well, a clip's done well when people start saying that, because when it just doesn't pop off at all, nobody's even seen it to be able to say it didn't happen, so you're doing something right.
I just think here's the thing where we all embellish right on stage a bit. But I think most comics are pretty honest about it. That if someone says to you, "Oh, did that happen?" we normally go, well, it kind of happened, or this bit happened, or that bit happened.
Aye.
But like, I think if someone says you made the whole, it's like, what do you think I sat down and decided to make up a story about sneaking into Man United when I was 16 to tell on? No offense, the Some Laugh podcast.
Like 10 episodes
Which,
in.
to be
isn't it?
fair, we were recording that time in your spare room.
Yeah. During the Edinburgh Festival, like
Aye.
I had other things on my mind.
No, but it's but you're right, because like when you're doing a podcast, well, I actually say that though, but that Hassan Minaj just got, that was
Yeah.
a big
I
story
read
in the
that,
news.
yeah. He seems to make up quite a lot
He's
of stuff.
basically just said, I made up all this stuff about getting sent anthrax in the post.
That's crazy.
That is
isn't it?
insane.
really?
It's wild as fuck, isn't it?
It was for a stand-up special, was it?
Aye.
He was
Yeah.
making the point of it illuminates a sort of wider truth, which is like a reason that stand-ups do sort of, I don't know, flatten the truth or change bits or whatever. But to just sit down and make up shit like that is
To
kind
say
of
I've been
insane.
sent anthrax in the post
Yeah.
and then go, not really.
Aye.
That's
crazy.
bonkers.
That's insane.
I don't actually have a girlfriend. That's a pure classic stand-up band. But no, it's crazy, because I think the thing I always say is like, well, the premise is usually true. So it's like the people would even sometimes say to me, which I always thought was mad, like, "Did you really work in a call centre?" As if I'd made it up. But you're like, that you start with that, like the premise is true. I want or this or whatever it is you're talking about, and then the embellishments usually in the punchline or You do use a bit
And then I
of
stabbed her. And I didn't really stab her.
a bit unless you're I got stabbed and I didn't really stab. But yeah, usually the punchlines where you use a bit of artistic license, but you're always starting usually from a place of truth.
Yeah. In answer to your question, I don't know if I've ever kissed any of my mates' bums.
Even when you were stimming? No?
Even when I was thinking, oh no, there was a time. I think I might have told this on Enjoy an Album recently. I can't really remember, but there was a time when I went out. There was me and a guy who used to get bleezing together, and that was it. That was our whole relationship.
What? Sorry,
Bleezing.
bleezing.
Yeah.
David Bleason.
Yeah. Yeah, just steaming, just like
right.
and that was the whole foundation.
Blazed?
No, just shit faced.
Yeah.
I've never heard bleezing before.
I might have just made it up.
But
now I'm
It's been
really,
a long time since you've got bleezings.
now I'm not very confident about it. But there was a mate of mine where our whole relationship was just based around us getting shit faced, and we found out when I sobered up that we really had nothing in common, and I haven't really spoken to him like since. But
is it Gus?
well, he is in this story actually, right? So me and Gus and this guy ended up at an afters, and once again, just like completely out of my mind. Blackout, like I used to get really long blackouts of like, you know, entire evenings
Really?
where I'd been awake for like 7 or 8 hours at a party,
Scary,
and
man.
I'd have
I'm
absolutely
interested
no
in
idea.
that, but I guess you don't have much to say about it because you can't remember.
Well,
but-
only that it's really terrifying.
I've had that. It's fucking scary.
Yeah.
Don't know anything
I've
about
only
it.
had it once.
Really? Yeah. No, I used to get blackout quite regularly, but it wouldn't always be like huge portions of the night. That was like you know, special occasions. But
But do you think it's because you fell asleep, or do you think it's were you actually?
no, I know.
You're doing stuff,
Yeah, you're doing stuff, and the way you find out is people say, "Oh yeah, do you remember this bit last night?" And you're like, "No."
It's like that great John Mulaney routine from back in the day.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Well,
Your mind goes to sleep, but your body goes all eye of the tiger.
yeah. So so I got blackout at this afters, and I had a bit about this where I had like little mini memories, little tiny
Aye.
mini seconds that I could just go, oh fuck, what was that? And it was literally like a microsecond of an entire evening. And I remembered the guy I was with. I looked up and he was like making out with this dude, right? And he was like, as I understood, like a straight guy, and then he'd been on the drink and the drugs and suddenly was making out with this dude.
Mm-hmm.
So the next day, me and Gus went to meet him for like a lunchtime sort of hair of the dog. And we were like, what was going on with you? You were kissing this guy. You were well fucked. And he looked at me and he went, so were you.
So were you kissing
And I
the
was
guy?
like, what? And he went, you and that guy like made out with each other for like 20 minutes. And I was like, hold on, what? And then I spoke to some other people at the party, and yeah, apparently which...
Who is this guy going about getting the most fucked people at the party? Like,
well, exactly. Okay,
that's the real villain in this story.
We were all
yeah.
the Didn't Happen Brigade during all that. You know? That's when you needed them.
You're a big lefty like myself, I would
Yes.
say, but you're not from a left wing place. In fact, you've told me before that the BNP were quite a big deal around your
In Dagenham.
Dagenham. Eh?
Yeah, Dagenham Heathway. We used to see the BNP like, handing out flyers outside Dagenham Heathway station, and the EDL were quite big. But you'll generally find it anywhere with like a big sort of BNP or EDL, or just general sort of right wing like interests. Will have like a more reactive like antithesis to that, right?
Right.
So, you know, in a...
So you're rebelling against where you're from by being a
Yeah,
socialist.
but my dad was a trade unionist, so it's
Aye.
like that's where it all came from. But yeah, no, the BNP got council seats when I was there, so it was like
Crazy.
it
That
was.
was when Nick Griffin was the head of them.
I mean, I've seen him in Dagenham. Like,
Wow.
Is he as gorgeous in real life?
Remember he had a Romanian girlfriend.
No, did he?
Yeah.
Is Farage no got like a French wife or something like that as
Yeah.
well? Like it's pure.
Yeah.
They're all hypocrites.
No chance.
aren't
British.
they? That's wild, man.
Yeah, it was. I mean, the thing with Dagenham is kind of, you know, when you hear like Michael Moore or something talk about Flint in Michigan, it was like
Aye.
this post-industrial. It used to be this Ford's factory was there, and built all these hundreds of houses for all the workers, and then the Ford's factory closed and it became poorer and poorer. And then the people who have been there since it was nice to now it's not being nice go, well, what's different? And they look around and they go, well, my neighbour's a different skin colour now, so maybe it must be that. And they end up blaming that instead. But yeah, I fucking hated living there. And that's why I came to Edinburgh. Like, as soon as I turned 18 was to get out of there, because it wasn't just like racist right wing, it was just really closed. You're probably similar where you're from,
small town mentality,
really small town mentality of like no one did even the suggestion that you might do something different is like cut down. Like, no, that's not for you, that's what you mean. Like, so a few kids did go to uni, but like you would only be going to do like something that would get you a job. The idea of doing anything frivolous or creative,
that isn't basically like a trade, or in your social life it's like in that isn't drinking or like putting on a coupon or watching football. It's like,
I knew people who were like, oh no, I don't like going abroad on holiday. I don't want to go on holiday abroad. I don't really want to leave Dagenham.
Fucking hell. No. And it's not even that, because in my head it's always like that's basically London, but it isn't really, is it? No, it's like over an hour to get into London from there, so no one really did it. Really? There's like a tube station, but like we started, me and my mates someone. I remember Simon Amstel used to have a bit where he'd say like, no one told us that London was close. Because when we were 15, we'd go in and we'd go hang out at Camden Town and you know, we couldn't believe that it was like there and people just didn't fucking do it. They just went to the Wetherspoons at Dagenham Heathway instead. The worst Wetherspoons in all of the country. Is that right?
Why is that?
It's called the Lord Denman. It used to be my dad's local. If you ever got 10 minutes, look up reviews on Google of the Lord Denman. They used to the shoplifters used to. There was like a bit of discourse on Twitter recently about shoplifters like setting up shop in pubs. Have you ever seen that?
Oh, setting up shop? No, but I've had people come into my local pub and offer me stolen goods before.
Yeah. So they used to have like,
I buy some golf clubs, that type of thing.
They used to sit at the back of the Denman and like, you know, on say like a Tuesday afternoon, and they would just almost have like a little market stall of like the stuff that they'd fucking nicked from the local like Wilkinson's.
That's crazy, isn't it?
There was a home base. This is one of the best fucking scams that I've heard. There was a home base where I worked for a bit. And I wasn't on shift, but my mate was, and there was some guys came in.
Legless, don't
And they picked up a plunger, and they went to front desk and went, "Can we return this plunger?" And they went, have you got a receipt? He went, "No." He went, "Well, we can't return it then." He went, "All right," and then walked out with it.
That's great. That's
genius, to be fair. Why are we not all doing that all the time?
That's very clever. Clever.
So
imagine how many plungers we could own between us.
And they also used to pick up the power drills and go out to the garden centre and just fuck them over the fence. No one was looking and go, fuck yeah. So have you ever seen a home base with a garden centre with netted stuff outside? It's why. Because they've had some fucking power.
Fucking hell. That's crazy, isn't it?
That's great. I was in Carlisle and this woman had like 4 jackets on and she was trying to sell them to people. She was like, "What one do you like?"
That's great.
Wearing them all. She'd obviously just bumped them. And pretty nice jackets.
Yeah. Did you buy one?
I did.
Yeah.
No.
Have you ever shoplifted?
No, I was always a bit too like a goody two shoes.
Shite bag. Did you have to chase shoplifters in the car?
They told us not to, and I obliged.
Right.
Yeah.
I did not.
You were only too happy to oblige.
I was like, absolutely, yeah, whatever like you say, boss.
Paul Blackmore Cup.
There's a guy stealing loads of cheese. I remember 2 big events, loads of cheese, like fucking rucksack full of cheese, and the other one was
stacking them up like you know when you get like big stacks of bills in a bank job in a film. All the cheese.
Well, all the cheddar, cheese, and then Air Glade. Is it Air Glade? You know,
like
the
Febreze or something.
Yeah, like sort of
plug-in Glade type
plug-in Glade drinks.
To deal with the smell of the cheese, but
But my boss was like, she actually was against the door, not letting the guy out. He was trying to fucking pull the door, and she was a big lady. She was against it, and then you could see in the security camera like me kind of looking around and then just pretending to like face up the crisps. So I'm not helping out. Fuck that. I paid £6 an hour.
I got done for shoplifting when
you?
I was 15. It was so funny. It was.
What did you steal?
It was so embarrassing. It was a tub of Vaseline.
Why did you steal that?
I didn't mean to.
Oh.
I literally I was on like this medication on my skin at the time that like dried out your skin. So I needed some Vaseline. So I went into the Boots in Romford Shopping Centre and I picked it up to use it. It was with my mates. And then we were just like walking around Boots and I just walked out with it. And then like 2 minutes later, these fucking security guards for the whole shopping centre came down on me and were like, yo, you've robbed that. And they took me up to their little office and I just sit there for fucking 90 minutes whilst my parents came and got me.
Wow.
And honestly, you should have seen my dad. A few of you have met my dad. He's like
Nice.
old Irish man.
Legend.
And they just phoned him and said, your son's been arrested for shoplifting. You need to come in. They hadn't said what it was. So he came in and he was fucking raging. Because I thought I'd nicked something expensive from
Photo.
Boots. Yeah. No garden centre in Boots.
Sitting with a plunger.
And he walked in and he went, Jesus, what is it? What is he taking? What is it? And the guy went, oh, it's just, it revealed this like tub of Vaseline. And I seen the rage in my dad's, what the fuck? Why did you steal that? Why do you care? Yeah, man. I'm off to the pub. To the Lord Denman.
That was brilliant, man. I thought you were going to say, because I've done this before, right? Here's the thing. See when you need to buy something in a shop, not like Vaseline or even, right, say it's condoms or whatever, right? It's embarrassing. You don't kind of want to be seen walking about with it. I have in the past, right? See if I went to buy condoms or something, like just slipped it in my jacket pocket until I get to the counter and then scan it and whatever. But I remember once being in like Sainsbury's local or whatever and doing that, and like the security guy seeing me do it, and I'm like, I'm not going to nick this. It's just that I don't want to be feel, I'm trying to be
Did
discreet.
you get embarrassed buying condoms?
Aye.
I remember an adult man asking
What people
me
think
to...
I fuck raw, bro. It's embarrassing.
No, No, I don't think I do. I think I'm just like, whatever. I remember a comic asking me to buy him condoms because we were too embarrassed. An adult man.
Was it CMD because he never had his ID?
Where his hole. Yeah, no, I don't really. If it was really crazy stuff, but then you wouldn't get crazy stuff in a Sainsbury's. Would you buy stuff in a sex shop? How do you feel about going into like
But and they're like, it's kind of one of the ones like in the sex. And if
accepted.
everybody's in the sex shop, you're all
complicit.
You're all in it together. Do you know what I mean? Aye, everybody knows. There's no hiding it. But when you're just in fucking Sainsbury's local and you're fucking
Turning your local Sainsbury's into a sex shop.
Johnny's a cucumber and some fucking Vaseline. Like that. There you go.
I still think people in sex shops that work there must judge people on certain items.
The
You know
rubber
what I mean?
fists going straight in the jacket pocket.
Yeah, if you've got something like that, you're hiding it, you know what I mean?
No, but there's also a thing, by the way, in Tesco now in the self-service checkouts, and it comes up with like a big picture of the thing you bought and like the name of it, and it's like people behind you in the queue, just fucking advertising what you've bought.
Yeah, I mean, again, if I saw someone had bought condoms, I'd be like, well,
There's lube or
there's
something
an
like that.
adult-
coming
That guy
out,
you're not buying lube from Sainsbury's, are you? Come on.
I'm just saying as an example, as a for instance.
Your partners deserve better than Sainsbury's.
They do the Durex
Taste
one,
the
right?
difference lube.
That's how you know how much he likes you, depending on which lube he reaches
Well, they
for.
can taste the difference. Dude, that's why I go with the Durex. There used to be folk that would steal like stuff. I used to work in Asda, and they would steal stuff, but the trolleys, like, if you'd steal a big full trolley, I think the trolleys would only go so far outside of the grounds of the Asda before the wheels would clamp up somehow.
Is it not like a magnet?
It
or
amazes
something?
It's a
me that they
magnet
can
or
do that.
What's that?
I've never understood how they do that.
I know, but I don't know how.
think it's
They,
just a magnet
It's
in
a
the wheels or
magnet.
something.
Yeah.
That blows my
You
mind.
could just lift it over the magnet.
they're the
Chuck
only
over the
thing. They're the only thing I know about that's got that technology. It's supermarket.
That's true, actually.
But I
you know
just,
what's good?
I don't know how people.
Why are
probably
they all in
people don't
fucking
get far.
canals then? Have they done that?
That's places without magnets. That's why they got the
I think
magnets.
that's why they got the
Trolleys from
magnets
the
in,
road
because they used to
Aye.
always be chucked in the canal. The poor trolley boys need to lift them up.
Wasted a quid. Right. There's a wee guy who came up to me recently, and he had a how like a corned beef beef
Cows and beef.
chicken corned beef key to like undo your corned beef.
What?
You know, you get like a key and it rolls the corned beef
Right.
tin open.
A tin, right?
A tin, sorry.
I'm picturing a
practicing
key made of corned beef.
I'm
Some fucking no fielding routine.
I'm picturing one of those like the
a
plastic.
plastic, no, a
container
tin, a wee
things,
tin.
right,
It's like
aye.
a key to open it. and he was like, I keep one of these on me at all times. This is for the trolley, and he put it in, and he like unlocked a trolley for me and gave me.
Wow, I knew
Very
someone
cool.
at uni who had a bin key. Who, like, you know, there's keys that there's bins that have locks.
Yeah.
You know what you gotta
yeah.
put-
Sure.
He had a bin key. He used to go bin raiding though. He used to like
I love this guy.
go around the back of
This guy
Domino's. And because like often you get like big restaurants who are like, oh, we've cooked the wrong order, and you just fuck it out. So he had a bin key. He used to go out the back of Domino's and open it and be like,
Jen,
"There's
that guy
four
buys
fucking-"
many condoms.
He's going raw, sure.
You've got a special key.
I do have a special key.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've got my hang on, let's see.
Does
Here
that
it is.
work in the bins?
It works in the disabled toilets.
Hagrid
This is-
over here. The
we are.
Hagrid of
This is-
shitting.
That's a
This
big
is
golden one.
keeper of
It's
keys.
beautiful, actually.
This is my radar key. So I've got colitis, so it's a type of like bowel disease. So I have a special key that gives me access to disabled toilets that you can and go in. So if you go into like Starbucks or McDonald's and you don't have time to have a conversation with the customer service person about whether or not you're allowed to use the toilet, you can just it's like a skeleton key. It's pretty sick.
To coin a phrase, the key to the shitty.
There you go. There was a mark. That was a line that Mark gave
That
me
you
for my Fringe show
disregarded.
that I only did when he was in the room.
In the day, well, when you done it the day I was at your show, there was like a pause for like 3 seconds and then a laugh.
You're
See
sitting
that
sweating.
3 seconds was the fucking most nerve-wracking, but I was like, oh no. See,
I hate to
give
see
him
a
like
comic
that.
do one of your lines that you gave them and it doesn't do that well.
Yeah, you go, oh, for fuck's sake. But then the inverse of that, when you see a line of yours get a round of applause.
And you turn and go, that was me.
Yeah. Actually, the best thing to do, the comedian Gareth Much, I've given him the odd line. And whenever I'm at a
Is this when
gig,
you're still on drugs?
whenever I'm at a gig and he does the line, I don't mention it because I know he will come off, and he always makes this big deal. He's like, "I'm sure Liam will told you that he gave me that line," and I know he's gonna say it, so I don't, and then I get 2 good points because A, I gave him the line, but B, I'm humble
He's
about
went
it.
and tell everybody.
Yeah.
Yeah, donating to charity, not mentioning it. Great.
And then they give you a big thank you post anyway. That's basically it.
Did you use that key a lot?
Well, during if I'm
Opened your shit, bro. Let's get into it.
I've realised that's what that sounds like. But
I'm happy to talk about my shitting. It's what your listeners want to hear about.
Making a fucking career out of it.
Ross,
Well, this is,
Roscoe
of course,
was,
you were talking about it in your recent Fringe show, of course.
Yeah, yeah.
And it's
So-
good to be open about all these things.
All
you know?
your gut health, etc. No, at the moment, my I'm a little bit more regular, a little bit more, a
Congratulations.
little bit more by the clock. Things are going pretty well on the current
Ticking
meds,
over.
but during a flare up, it's bad. You know, you are having to use the key.
is the flare up because of dietary stuff, or is it just
It
just
can
happen?
be, or it can just happen. It can be stress as well. Yeah, it's a bit fucking all over the place. But the key, I mean, the best place to use the key is train stations.
Oh, yeah.
Because there's or actually at football grounds,
Aye.
because the toilets at football grounds are fucking they're gross.
Yeah,
but they
yeah.
have, most of them have like disabled toilets that use the key, and then there's a nice clean toilet. But I used it at Waverley train station recently.
But is Waverley one of those ones where you need to put a 20p or whatever into?
No.
I don't know if
No,
any
that's
of them
only the
exist
Rat
anymore.
Queen Street station.
Yeah.
Charging, but building a new
Central-
station in
Central used to do it as well.
Is that
Fucking
is
hell,
that right? Is it?
Yeah.
Because even Central, I used to work there, and you'd have to put 40p in, but I'd always just jump it, obviously.
There's a there's
But
a
now
radar.
they don't have them there anymore.
Yeah, Queen Street. They still charge
That's
it
crazy.
20p.
It's crazy.
In this day and age, the
They're
fucking
rather-
S&P.
Would
Even
they-
though it used to be, there used to be that at Euston Station as well.
Yeah.
I'm sure. I think
They've
it might
got rid
still
of it
be.
though.
Have they?
Yeah.
Aye, because you can't be doing that to people. Surely that's like against human rights or whatever.
Yeah, you could just pee in the. Would they
Pee in the
rather
what?
you pee
Pee in the what?
in the station, like on the
Basically
wall?
just keep away. I guess it's just to keep away drug addicts and stuff
Yeah,
like that.
yeah,
isn't it?
basically. But
But now you've got fucking keys.
yeah, do all the drugs I want. No, the one at Waverley was amazing, right? Because I went down to it recently, and there was someone in the toilet, right? And there was someone working, and I said, "Oh, is there someone in that, Lou?" And they went, "Yeah, but there's another disabled toilet just there." I went, "Great." He went, "Oh, but you have to have a key." And I went, "Oh, I've got a key." And the guy went, I've never seen the key. And it's like a new building, so the key wasn't actually in the door, it was in the wall. It was cool as fuck.
It's like an escape room.
It was like an escape room. It was like a fucking James Bond bookshelf that opened. You clicked it, and oh man, what a luxurious shit that was.
Amazing. So I take it that it's like a standard spec, they all need to be the same.
Yeah,
Because
exactly.
what about those ones where they need to give you a code, like in Costa or whatever?
Well, I haven't. I you don't
not-
really see that much that anymore.
It's not a secret code that you guys
Sometimes
get.
you get the wee hang on the, you know, you need
I think then
to type it
you
in
need
the
to go and ask. Yeah.
Oh, really?
Yeah, they hold the code.
'Cause it's- quite a
Keys
lot of
over
places
codes every
got it.
time. That's what I've been saying.
Interesting. No, that's pretty cool.
Because Roscoe said that he just bought one off Amazon, did he not?
I mean, you can buy them,
Yeah.
but it kind of you shouldn't. Like if you're don't just go and buy
How
the
much?
key.
What's the going rate?
But I do think if you're in
If
that
you
much
need
of
to get your hands on one, Liam does sell them in his local Wetherspoons. If you-
the inside of my jackets, just go to the garden centre and fuck them over. I think if you're thinking about buying them, then you probably need one anyway. Like if you were that concerned about shit, because some people talk to you and they're like, "Oh, I don't shit in public,"
Aye.
and I'm like, I would love that
not an
luxury.
option.
Yeah.
Because you see in disabled toilets as well, they always have these signs now and they go, not every disability is visible.
Yeah.
And I was just thinking, that's a great, thanks for that excuse. I've now got a line if anyone ever challenges me on it.
They're not called disabled toilets anymore. They're called accessible toilets.
Ah, there you go.
Great.
Yeah. So
Can't say anything anymore.
That's where I draw the line, right? We can have gender neutral toilets, right? But we need to have a separation between.
I was doing a car share of a comic recently, and I won't say who it is because I think they'll be embarrassed. But they told me that they have one shit a day, and immediately after they have to have a shower.
Fucking hell.
Is it that horrible?
No, well, that's what I said. They said it's not that they just feel disgusting, so they won't go to the toilet unless they can have a shower
Sounds
immediately
like
after.
some trauma or something
Yeah.
they've had.
That's dark. Whatever's happened there.
Is that
I think it's an OCD thing. I don't know.
Yeah, maybe. I mean, I get it, I suppose, but
Do you
yeah,
do
I mean,
that?
no, I mean, I wouldn't. No, I mean, again, to have that luxury would be nice. But because some of these like, accessible toilets, will they have showers and stuff in them? Sometimes,
Yeah, sometimes.
Have you ever used those facilities? Have you just been at like a service station or something, seen a guy going like a towel over his shoulder?
There are showers in like that you can hire in like Waverley and stuff. And I always
Yeah,
wonder
that's crazy, isn't it?
who is that for? I guess if you've been travelling for a long
For a
time,
long
but
time,
just off the sleeper train, getting a wee shower?
That's no life, is it?
No. I think if you're just off to sleep, just wait until you're in your hotel or something.
You'd have to go straight to work.
I never need a shower that desperately, unless I've been at Tea in the Park or something.
Yeah, it's funny you say that because I was just about to say like the thing I loved at Tea in the Park is like you need to queue for ages to get a proper toilet rather than the horrible portaloos. But like I would go in and do that and
I never used showers at Tea in the Park or anything.
no, but you would for just to go for a shite basically.
Did you go to the good toilets?
Aye.
Did you?
I'm not. Yeah, I'm
He's
not
like
squatting
Mariah
over
Carey,
that big
man.
horrible.
big
Did you? What
mound.
did you? Did you squat
Yeah,
over the
you
mound?
remember those big?
Your shitters are the people, me and Steve.
I used to eat like a packet of Imodium before going to Tea in the Park.
Just
Did
do,
you?
do the whole lot.
and,
Really?
and hopefully not go over the weekend.
Man's been found dead.
There's a dodgy batch of Imodium going around the campsite this year.
You got to take half and see how you do with it.
Those Mitsubishi Imodiums, man.
Yeah, I'll just try and hold it, man.
Yeah, no.
God Almighty! No, I think I would die. No, not an
Yeah, it
option.
wasn't pretty on the Monday, let me tell you.
He died as he left, full of shit.
But you always do big concept fringe shows.
What a pivot.
Do big shows.
Big concept shots. I worked them up over the course of 6 months.
They're always well structured.
That's good. That is good.
That's not hurt an end. You always do big concept shows at the Fringe. That was one of them. You talked about what the other one was being an alky.
Yeah.
Not to put too. You can't say anything these days, can you?
I'm sorry. What was some of your other ones? Immigration was one.
Yeah, so the three main ones have been this recent one about sort of
Which
spending
you're not
some-
finished with. You did at the Fringe, but it will
Yeah.
have a life of its own, I'm sure, that show.
Yes, to be announced. There is some dates and some stuff being discussed
A
about
wonderful show.
that show going other places for sure. And yeah, I did my first show was about giving up booze. All of these shows, there's no real like. I don't sit down and go, I'm going to write a concept show. It's just been like mad shit that's been happening, and it's when you can only really write about what's going on in your life.
Yeah.
And that, especially that year when I gave up drinking, I wasn't thinking about anything else. I couldn't do a show about the fucking difference between cats and dogs. I just couldn't. That was all I was thinking about because it was like rattling.
So was that your first show that you done, like a concept?
That was my debut. Yeah, that was my first hour. And then
did you make all that up, or is that true?
And then the next year is the year me and my partner got married for her visa. And also because we love each other, but mainly for her visa. And then we had like complications, and then she had to move back to Australia for a bit. And so same deal. It was like that was all that was going on. So ended up writing a show about it. There's been a few other shows that have been more sort of fun and clubby, and but yeah, those are the three main sort of. These are the big concept ones here.
Can do it both, this lad.
Yeah, you can do
Do
it
it
all.
all.
Get you a girl that can do both.
See, because they sometimes say we're talking about big life events and all that you should do it a bit after you've got over it or something like that. But I seen like a preview of your show that you've just done, and like a good few months before August, like it was, I don't know, it's maybe April or May or something, and it was like I was amazed at how like it was basically ready to go. You could have done it probably then, and it'd have been ready, and like. See when, and obviously that's been a lot of stuff like you talked about getting in and out of hospital and stuff. See while that's all happening, like were you still able to be like, oh, I'm going to talk about this on stage, or at the time was it tough, and then it's only after you're looking back a wee bit?
It was weird, and I kind of spoke about this a bit in the show. Like, whilst it was happening, just to say to the listener, the show was about the specific 10 days I spent in hospital.
Yeah,
and it kind of went day by day. Whilst it was happening, you kind of already thinking, if you do this for a living, you're thinking, well, this is maybe going to be at some point something. But it wasn't funny.
No.
Like, and I really, like, I was unsure as to how I would ever make it a show. I just thought my life stuff normally does. And then it was only really, I mean, I booked in a whip at the end of February. And I remember me and Stu were, like, talking to each other about our shows and, like, sort of helping each other early on. And I was like, I've got an hour booked in, I've got nothing. And this was like 4 weeks before the thing. And I couldn't think of anything that was funny about what had happened.
Really?
At that point.
Was this in Leicester? The show?
Yeah.
Steve spoke in Leicester.
Remember we got the train back?
Yes.
Semi.
Yeah. We hung out that day. So that day, was my first preview for that show, and there was like literally 4 weeks before I had nothing, and I had to pull an hour out of my arse, and it was the fucking desperation of knowing you had to fill an hour that is where it started to turn into an actual show.
Yeah, I mean it's an unfortunate turn of phrase there.
Yeah, I saw Mark's eyes light up there.
Or a fortunate turn of phrase.
I mean, I suppose in a way you basically did do that.
Mark is right. It was remarkable how quickly it came together because, like you say, we were kind of helping each other out. And I don't want to overplay my involvement at all, but I remember
you wrote the show, Stuart.
Yeah, every joke of it.
Stuart was up
me at the back going, that was me. Not that one actually. But no, because I remember that thing at the time of like it wasn't funny to you because it was too quick off the back of it actually happening to you, and it was scary, and it's like a really difficult thing to go through, and you weren't finding it funny. And I remember gigging with you, and you weren't finding it funny, and that's the hardest.
In retrospect, I actually feel like I maybe like it all worked out, and the show has gone great, but I think it probably was a bit too fast because it's an enormous amount of pressure to put on yourself to like this fucking treadmill that we go on every year of like writing a new show is stressful enough.
Yeah,
and then for it to be about something that happened really in like November, December.
That you're still dealing with as well.
That I'm still dealing with, and I'm still like things are right at the moment. I'm on meds that are working, but you don't really know if they're working properly until you've been on them for like 6 or 8 months.
Yeah.
So at any moment it could fucking go. So I do think that probably some distance probably would have been better for me mentally, emotionally. But at the time, as I say, it's all you're thinking about. So I can't fucking write a show about Rishi Sunak or whatever. I don't care. I'm thinking about my ass.
Yeah. And I think the immediacy of it helps though, right?
Definitely, like, because it is an ongoing thing, so you're like, well, this is now, You're the same, you write autobiographical shows. It's like, I can't think about other stuff. This is just what's going on.
You're stuck with it. It's just gonna make it work.
And that's not to say you can't talk about it later down the line. I still write jokes about giving up booze. I've been eight years off it.
Aye.
And there is a distance that adds a different element when you're talking about it. But when you're in it, that's all I can talk about.
Absolutely, because your previous show, you you'd had the diagnosis, I think, by then, and you spoke about it, and it was, but I remember you saying kind of like you maybe underestimated it a wee bit, and because the end of your show was like, it was about like fainting at the London Marathon and all that stuff, and then about how I now got diagnosed, and it was almost like kind of, and now everything's fine kind of thing.
Yeah,
and then it was,
I really thought it was.
Yeah.
They told me, oh, you've got colitis and here's some pills you can take, and I was like, oh, okay, great, that's it. And then, yeah, as the year went on, like, and those pills didn't work, and the next pills didn't work, and my health just got worse and worse. It turned out I wasn't there at all. So I guess that's the risk you take as well. We're talking about stuff that current is that it's constantly changed. Like, I'm, doing this show more. There's to be announced, and there is a real chance that stuff could change dramatically still.
Yeah,
so we'll see.
Absolutely. But
sorry, on you go, Steve.
I don't really. I was just going to say something and hope a question popped out of my head.
Give it a go. See if she asks the same one I was about to ask.
What were you going to ask?
I can't remember now.
no, come on, Steve. I want to see it comes out of Steve.
I was just going to ask more about the process of writing like a concept show, because I find that pretty hard, and like how do you can't really try a lot of it in clubs and that. I don't know how boring this will be for the listeners, but
My question was going to be about how tough Steve finds it as well, so that's good. Seems like Steve finds it pretty hard. How do you find it?
Steve's not got Stuart writing noise jokes for him. So.
I mean, I did a lot of previews, right? Like loads, specifically because I couldn't do it in the clubs. So I went everywhere and I did like 20 or 25 previews, which is mad. That's as many shows as you do in the Fringe.
Right.
But it was organic. Do you know what I mean? It wasn't, as I say, it wasn't like I sat there and went, right, this is what I'm going to do and how I'm going to do it. Like I filmed everyone, and then I had a few mates. I think you all at some point watched it and gave notes and everything. And my brother works in theatre, so he watched it early on as well and was able to give a bit more of an outside comedy aspect of like,
it's cool.
Of like lighting and costume and. So, I mean, most people listening won't have seen the show, but it's different to most stand-up shows you will have watched unless you've seen a lot of stuff at the Fringe.
Yeah.
In that it is a little more, it's not just a guy with a microphone, there's like a costume and props and...
And your wife was involved in making props as well?
My wife, prop maker, supreme.
Does Lauren help, well not help you, but does she offer feedback and stuff, and does she...
Yeah. I mean, this one she found really hard because, again, like, she did not find it funny. Like... It was a really hard time. Like, I was in hospital. She was coming in every day. We were thinking, spoiler alert, that like I might have like an operation. And so like the show, particularly, there's a video of me and CMB recording the podcast at the top of the show, and where I find out I'm going to hospital and I get really upset, and like, she's my wife, so like she finds that really hard to watch. So like she's very good at giving back sort of feedback, and she's always like, well, I don't really know, but I always feel like, well, you're an audience, you do know. If you just get your feedback from comedians, then you're going to have a show that's only good for comedians. But if there's like just regular people with regular jobs and regular lives who are like, well, I like this, or I like this, or I was bored at this point, then that's useful. But this one she found a lot more difficult because it was like obviously a really hard time.
Yeah. It's funny that it starts with that video. It'd be good for us for the numbers if something could happen during this podcast that could then be the start of your next show.
Do you want me to shit myself?
We've not. It would be a first for the podcast.
Do you have a disabled toilet?
I don't know if the key works in my house, but
You're taking a year off next year, you said. Is that right?
Oh, are you?
I'm thinking of having a because, like I said, that fucking pressure to put yourself under of turning around a show, particularly when it's about like a horrible thing, is like really fucking draining. I felt so fucked by the end of the festival. You feel fucked at the end of the festival anyway.
Yeah.
But you don't take any days off or anything, did you?
Well, that seems daft, right? But that was like an insurance against myself getting ill because this is an ongoing health situation. So I thought if I do every day of the Fringe, then if I have to cancel shows, I haven't had days off for no reason.
Yeah, that's true.
So there was reason behind that, but yeah, I was fucked mentally and everything. So I think I'm going to take next year off and then come back in 2025, 6.
Yeah, 25. That's crazy. But no, I know what you mean. Like, because I had done a bit more of a personal show this year, but I'd had a bit of distance. I was just talking about my mum passing away, basically, if nobody'd seen the show. But it's been about 2 years since, and it was almost the opposite thing for you. Of like, I think enough time to process it a wee bit, but I was also like, if I leave it any longer, not that you can ever talk about these things, but I just felt like the right time, and it was, I just filmed my last show that wasn't really personal at all. That obviously you'd opened for me that night.
Mm-hmm.
The Kings, and I only had a couple of months to put together something. And like you were saying about, I didn't really have anything else to say, and it felt like the things that I hadn't spoke about that was all that was left to talk about, rather than talking about the Prime Minister and the news and all that shit. I was like, this is kind of the real thing to talk about now, and it was an interesting process to go through. But yeah, as I say, I think it's but now I still like think now that I've just finished that off, and you go, even during August, I was sometimes wondering if I still not processed this enough, am I going to look back on this and go like, oh, there's some stuff that I still wasn't realising or whatever, because it's an ongoing thing, grief as much as it is.
But probably, I think there probably will be a bit down the line where you're like, oh, I feel differently about this now than I do then. But it's a good like fucking window into that time period of your life and how you feel about it.
And it felt like the appropriate time to do it. And part of the appeal for me was actually I didn't have very long to put it together, because I was like, I don't want to keep having to think about this all the time. Do you know what I mean? So it was interesting, but it was good for me. But I also felt a bit like I don't know, because you've done a lot of those, and Stuart, you're kind of the same as well of like doing those more personal shows. But I always feel like it's maybe taught me to bring it in a bit more. But I kind of think it's like I didn't really. It's not something I'm seeking to do all the time with like that kind of fringy type of show, I would say.
When are you going to do a really personal show, Steve? That's what I want.
Did you not see a show this year?
Done it this year. Done it this year. Listen, doesn't have to be worse and all. You know
doesn't have to be.
I done my first show was about taking
about
in
Dove. Yeah.
refugee and stuff. So feel like I've done that. But I would have done stuff differently if I'd
Wouldn't
done
have
it.
taken
now.
them.
Yeah. I think that was my debut, so I felt like I had to add in all of like the material I've ever done,
Greatest
basically
hits.
my greatest hits, and also tie it into this not weird, but like a concept or like a story. So it just felt like I was just forcing in bits for the sake of it, and I would do it differently. if I was
Classic
doing it
TV
now.
show stuff, that, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I regret that.
What's next for Stephen Buchanan?
This isn't about me, guys.
It's an interesting time of the year though, isn't it? Because it's just about a month after the Fringe, and it's kind of anything's possible. You go, I've got a year to work up.
I
on
come up
that
with the
thing.
craziest ideas at this time of the year.
So,
Just mad shit.
but you potentially could do anything at this point. It's
But
nice.
listen, kind of going, I'm not going to do it next year. It's a fucking relief. Like I'm hearing people starting to make moves, talking about next year, talking about booking in shows at like Whips at Glasgow Comedy Festival, and what's my next show going to be, and who am I going to do it with, and all that. And it's giving me like secondhand anxiety,
Aye.
and I'm going, I don't have to fucking think about this.
Yeah.
I'm gonna. That's the prize.
Well,
Like,
if you got
new
like
material shaved me from holiday.
hey, well, any act doing new stuff in September after doing the Fringe, I think is a fucking rat. Personally, I think give us a fucking break. You're up at 6 a.m. running on the beach, motherfuckers.
The only thing I feel, because I've not really taken any time. I've taken a couple of weekends off for gigs, but I've been editing for like the last month or so. I've not really stopped, and I've not had a break yet. I feel I'm that's about to stop though, and then I just need to take like a break, just a week or two, just go on holiday or something like that, and then I can start again, because it's now getting to the point where you do need to start looking at it or whatever.
Yeah.
But because I'm starting to see people now doing all this stuff and getting back to the new material, and I'm like, I've not even fucking stopped yet. So I need to, before you want to get in that mindset, I want to just take a wee quick break. But I'm quite keen to just go again. Actually, I'm quite up for it, I think.
We
Well,
go
see, I mean,
again.
it depends on your year you've had and everything as well,
Aye.
and what happens. Like, who's to say something fucking crazy might happen where I'm like, all right, I'm going to do a show, you know,
Yeah.
and
But you could potentially just go and do that show again maybe next year.
it might be a couple of dates
On
where
return or
I do
something
that,
like that, yeah.
or a whip at the Fringe for a couple of days or
Aye.
something. You know, I live in Edinburgh, so there'll be something I do. I'm pretty sure, but it won't be a full big fucking new show because I feel like a break right now. But I've definitely done years where during the Fringe you're thinking about next year's Fringe.
Yeah.
And you're going, right, this is what I'm going to do different, and I can't wait to get started. So it depends where you are at with your show at that point, I think.
100%. But I do know what you mean about the relief, because I remember in 2020 coming back from Australia, we were on the same flight, and I remember getting off at fucking Dubai or whatever it was in the stopover and finding out that the Glasgow festival had been cancelled, and being so relieved because I had like a week before it, and then I had to write a new show for August, and then see when that Fringe got cancelled, that was the fucking
Yeah.
biggest
Snow
weight
day.
off the shoulders ever. It's
Yeah,
amazing.
it was
Aye, it is. It's like snow day basically. It's like everything's can get, and it's funny because people maybe would be like, they don't realise the relief that comics have when like a gig gets cancelled.
You just want every gig to be pulled. I do anyway.
You do. I don't feel as much that as you, but it is a
Yeah, it
relief
depends.
a lot, innit?
I've kind of stopped doing the gigs that I hate. So
Aye.
mostly, I mean, if I get to the venue and it's cancelled, I'm probably quite pissed off now.
Aye.
Because I've made all my way there. The best night of my career was a corporate I was booked for at Christmas, and it was when I lived at the Shore in Leith, and the gig was 5-minute walk from my front door, if that. Right, it was at the Shore, and so the show was at 8:30. I left at 8:20. Got there at 25 past. No one there at this corporate. They said, "Oh, we're really sorry, but none of the clients have come. You've been paid already." Home by 8:30
Oh man,
with full wages
That's beautiful.
in the pocket.
that's
Thank you
beautiful.
very much. And I knew this is the best night of my professional life. I'm never going to be paid this much to do fuck all ever again.
That's
It's
all
like-
we
That's
want.
gorgeous.
If the abseiling was your rock bottom, that was
Your
your
tear to the eye.
Oh, that's beautiful. I wish I had that.
I could be backstage at Live at the Apollo, and I'm hoping for a pull.
You hope that
Yeah,
hang
probably
comes
just
up
never
and
comes up.
His naked on there.
Yeah. Sorry, Stu. You've been paid.
Still get paid.
It's funny you mentioned that about that my corporate gig because I seen is it Nuruddin on Twitter posted recently that video that you've got
Yeah.
where you were talking about that. Man, I remember you doing this when you went on Facebook Live because you got booked for that gig. what
Fucking
was
hell.
it
Is that
again?
the one in the tent?
Yeah.
Oh, that's a
The
classic.
Colour Festival thing or whatever it was.
God, this like follows me around this gig because So it was. I mean, the video's on YouTube, and it was. It wasn't really a corporate. It was booked by this guy in Aberdeen.
Yeah.
And I'd been doing the weekend, and it was the Sunday, and they said, "Right, we've got an extra gig for you. It's a Sunday afternoon." And it's a Holi Mela festival, which is like this religious festival. And I got there, and it was a fucking like market in a town hall where they were like selling saris and doing eyebrow threading and stuff. And the guy just handed me a microphone in the middle of a market and just went, "Off you go." What do you mean? There's no one's looking.
To do stand. That's like actually doesn't it make the fucking hang of it
The
thing you're
train
going to do giving a train that mental.
No one's facing the right way. Going their arse here.
PTSD to your abseil.
Yeah, and so I just remember just going, "Look, can I just stand here and just describe what's going on?"
Aye.
Is that?
Just commentating on just a
And
thoroughfare.
that was it. So then I was just reading. You can see the YouTube video. I'm literally saying, "And at table number 8, you can go see Miriam, who is selling some of her delightful tea cakes." And then there was this big. This was at the start. Facebook Live. It sounds crazy to say. This is a while ago now, but Facebook Live was a new thing. So I pressed I just went, "Fuck it, I'm going to stream this. I'll get something funny out of this." And I think a lot of people had never really seen a Facebook live stream before.
Yeah.
So quite a lot of people watched it, and there was like comics. So fucking Ramesh was watching it.
Wow.
And was fucking commenting like, "What the fuck is going on?" And there was this big tent outside where part of the Holi Mela celebrations where they were going to throw all this fucking paintballs at each other, like the colour bombs.
Yeah.
And so I had to arrange that. So I was outside with a mic, and there was like a DJ in the tent, and they were all dancing, and it was like a big countdown to this thing, and there were acts in the chat, sort of telling me to say funny stuff. And Mark Nelson tricked me into saying to a room full of Aberdeenian Holi Mela celebrants, "Ooh, ah, up the rah." Which, despite coming from an Irish background, was not an expression that I wasn't thinking. I wasn't really analysing. I think it played it quite smart. I think it said, "Say this," and it was like a little bit funny, a little bit cheeky. And so I thought, "Oh, it's nothing bad." But yeah, then I said, "Ooh, up
Because
the
then
rah."
you're like, "Can you just give me a serious thing to say?" And then he said that.
Yeah, and
What was the crowd's reaction?
they all sang it. So I don't think anyone there really knew. They were all going, ooh, ah, the rock. And they were like dancing and then throwing fucking colour things at each other. But yeah.
Were they all green, white, and gold?
Yeah, no, it was fucking crazy. And it wasn't really until I got home that I realised what I'd said and what had happened. But no, that is because a lot of comics, there are sometimes I'll gig with someone who I've not seen in like 8 years, and that's the first thing they'll bring up because that's the last time they saw me. Yeah, but you know what it's, you just do loads of these fucking mad gigs, especially when you're coming up and you just say yes to everything, especially if it's good money.
Oh, I remember actually during COVID, right, when the only gigs going a lot of the time were like these drive-through ones or whatever, the drive-in gigs where you would do it.
Drive-through.
He's in the booth. Hang's with. That's just got some fucking tomato sauce, man.
But it got to Christmas, right, and this guy asked me, and I'd heard a few people, I think CMB done one of these gigs where you're doing stand-up before people are going to watch a film, right?
Yeah.
And so it was like it was called the Christmas Drive-In, and this guy got in touch with me and said, can you do comedy before the films? And it was like Home Alone and fucking Die Hard or something like that, right? And I'm like, God,
Gentle Unchained.
I don't even know why this is going to be. Well, I don't even know why I agreed to it, because I was like, I'm going to absolutely die Mars here, but it's like the only work you get. And I was like, I'll just do it for the money and that's it. But I was like, just turning up, I was like going, like, the fucking, walk to fucking death row. I'm like, just thinking I'm going my death here.
You're about to die hard and then die hard on the fucking screen, am I right?
Yeah, exactly. Good stuff. And I wish I was Home Alone. But I turn up, right, and then it's just this van. And like, it's like a van with like the hang on. It was like a big truck, sorry, with a screen on the side of it. And so I get in and there's like a window, right? And I'm like, I was expecting like a wee bit in front of the screen where to stand and do the jokes. And there's just this window, and I'm like, am I just to tell the jokes out the window? And then he went, oh no, they can't see through that window. And I'm like, right. So this guy did not tell me that at any point he didn't tell me that no one's going to be able to see me, right? And then he's asked me to do comedy, and then so I suddenly go like, right, so, but what's happening is that the mic and like, the way that they're hearing the film is they're tuning into a certain channel on their radios. So
Like a silent disco.
So
they can switch.
So I'm basically just a guy doing like saying stuff into a mic that's going into their individual car radios, right? So I just started going. And they said as well, you can get people to just like send messages on the Facebook and get shout outs and all that. So I'm like, obviously, they can't see you. You can't just do stand up.
Imagine
like reaction in it, and like when they can't even see you.
I think we've all done stand up to no reaction.
Fucking Wizard of Oz. So I was just like, all right. But basically, I just realised I can just do these shout outs and just get paid to do that, and I don't need any stuff. So I was like, it was the biggest relief, like going for like, this is going to be the worst thing in my career potentially, to like the easiest thing you could ever do. So I just start the whole bowie. And a shout out to the Johnston family who are here this evening, looking forward to the film and blah blah. And do that. So, but actually, I think one of the nights Lemmy was there with his family, and I just always cringed to think, oh, that's that fucking cunt. He fucking ruined Die Hard. But I was like, could you imagine if I did today fucking
So were they watching Die Hard, and then if they were bored at one point, they could switch over to see
No,
you
it was
do shout
before
outs?
the show. Like, as people are coming in, I have to just
It's
do
totally pointless,
the
though.
pre-show
Yeah.
hang. Aye, it's absolutely pointless. But I
Wouldn't you
guess
rather
you
just speak
need
to your family?
Yeah.
You sat in a car with your family, and then a guy over there is saying hello.
I think it's just so they had something on before it to make sure they're tuned into the right channel or whatever, I guess. But he just said, we just need some comedy before it. But it just shows you sometimes like
People just think comedian, and then they just go, oh well, they'll know everything.
they don't know how they just don't know how the logistics go. But then if we're not having to do our act, we always feel like we're getting away with it. But that's all they really wanted, was somebody to be saying things.
I did a corporate in Bristol recently in a museum in Bristol, and they just booked comedian, and I got there and I was like, the mic and everything. They went, oh, we thought you'd have that.
Aye.
No communication that whatsoever. They did have a mic because they had a DJ, but it was like a old like 80s karaoke DJ like mobile booth thing with like lights and proper like
Craig,
I hate that shit, man.
yeah.
Yeah, like what's his name from Robot Wars and that. It's
Yeah,
fucking so.
it was like that, yeah. But when they gave me, so I could use that mic, but every time I spoke, every time I hit a plosive, the lights would change.
I've had that.
And so you're
Imagine
doing
seeing
your
my
set.
act with that.
Yeah. Yeah, so every time you hit it, it's good. And because the room was like a museum room, the echo was so bad that whenever you spoke anyway, the lights would change, the audio would bounce off these like fucking old walls. No one could hear you anyway. So it was just you just like rabbiting white noise into a corner to fucking disco lights going off.
For fuck's sake.
That's mental, isn't it? Sometimes those ones are better. See when people can't hear you, just the whole audience isn't listening or something. That's better because you don't even feel like you're doing a gig there. Whereas when you're just dying your ass and everybody is just paying attention, it's fucking terrible. Isn't it? There's nothing
It's a
worse.
transcendent experience to speak at a room full of strange, like people who, and then they're not even like acknowledging you whatsoever.
I went
You
with
feel very at peace.
Aye.
I went with Gus Lindburn once when we lived together. He was booked to do stand up at a boxing event
Mark's told a similar story.
in the ring.
Oh no. Mine's was just there was boxing on the telly
Oh,
beforehand.
fuck, right.
Yeah, no, this was a boxing event. It might have been Kirkcaldy or something. It was like fucking somewhere like that.
Aye.
And I just went along to laugh, basically. And there was literally like it was amateur boxing night, and there was a fight, and then another fight, and they went, and now we're going to give it up to your comedian, who was booked to do half an hour, and he stood in the middle of
12 rounds.
and in the middle of the ring. And was, when I say ignored, it was like nothing was going on. Like nobody even looked up from their table. People were just talking and everything. And he just stood and fucking did his set to just...
Fucking hell.
Like he was rehearsing in his bedroom.
Wow.
Yeah.
The ref should
Did
have
they do
stopped
that?
it. Liam's in the corner replacing his gum shield and
Get up, Rock! Did they do that thing though that you see comedians do when they play the round where he like kind of he'll be like talking to one side of the room and then has to kind of
getting ignored in 360.
That's wild, man.
You've done a one in Waverley, have you not?
I did take it. I've got a mad picture of this somewhere. But I done a gig in like they were basically saying come and do Waverley Station. Now, when it was like the official Fringe website or whatever, you could apply to do this.
It's fucking mad that it's like, it's always through the Fringe stuff.
Yeah,
and you're
they
like,
should know.
You should know that a busy working train station is not the place. Because all you're going to... I imagine people just came up and went, excuse me, where's platform 4?
Well, nobody was even
I've got
acknowledging
a key.
me.
Can you tell me where to go?
I was going to say that's the best place for the gig, the accessible
I
toilet.
just started saying that trains were cancelled.
Go to London, you'll be mugged and not appreciated.
But no, it was because you got like this wee sort of boom box thing you carry about with a
boom box.
I was like, basically you could only hear me within like 10 feet of me anyway. But I guess it's like meant to be for like people that have got like, I don't know, cabaret acts or these people that see in the Royal Mile where it's kind of like
Juggling
it's
swords and shit.
jugglers and all this kind of stuff. No, like where it's just you can't just do stand up in like a fucking train station.
If a stand-up
platform.
responds to that and says, I'd like to do this, they should just reply and say, no, you don't.
But the funny thing is, they had a poster of it, and like you could put your poster on it. So I've got a picture of me standing in Waverley Station, and it's got me and Steve's face on it saying "Krispy Kremes and comedy."
Okay, the closest gig to that venue, to be fair.
It was like right next door.
In the adjoining
So we'll
room.
be there in like 5 minutes next door if you want to come in. It's
Doing
like,
a gig on the concourse of Edinburgh Waverley to advertise your gig inside a disbanded donut shop. How far we've come.
I know. Aye.
I'm sure I was booked for it as well, and I just never showed up.
Pulled it.
I don't
Smart.
think they noticed.
No, I didn't think anyone was there.
A rail replacement Steve Buchanan was sent instead.
That's good. That's good stuff.
That's good. And his
Stephen
name
Bus
was Stuart
Station.
McPherson.
Wrap it up, boys. Wrap it up. Stephen Bus Station. We're not getting any better than that.
That's good stuff.
That is good.
Anything you'd like to plug, Liam?
So you've got some to be announced.
Some to be announced. I asked if I could speak about it, and I can't speak about it quite yet. But just if you'd like to see my show, there will be an opportunity to do that soon.
Great show.
What's the best way
Brilliant show.
to keep up to date with anything you've got coming up
Just come hang out at my house. I live in Edinburgh. No, just get me on Instagram. I mean, look, the fourth unofficial member of Some Laugh, Christopher MacArthur-Boyd, myself and him do a podcast about music. You've all been on it. Some of our most popular episodes are the Some Laugh Boys.
Yeah. Kendrick episode's the best.
Yes. It's actually the lowest ranking out of the 3.
I'm doing it again tomorrow and I'll be hungover and it'll suck.
Great.
But hey, come on.
I'm not going to be there, so that's fine. So yeah, we do a podcast about music called Enjoy an Album. I'm sure you might know already.
One of my favourites.
And
Mark's been getting into country recently.
Yes. Oh my god, my metaverse of madness. And you can get me on Instagram at Liam Withnail, and that's where I'll be posting anything that's coming up soon.
Absolutely. And check out the previous episode Liam was on. I think I slept on it. It was really funny and
it was brilliant.
a lot of fun. But it was an
I don't know
early
if I
one.
like being described as slept on. That's kind of suggests that people
Just
did.
I think numbers wise and stuff, but it was a really good.
I understand what you're
Because it was
saying.
early and it wasn't in the
It was
studio.
just
So.
early doors, but it was a great ep. Go back and check it out for sure. And it featured your dog actually.
Featuring little Bertie,
Bertie
a little
Bubble.
traumatised dog after spending a summer with Mark Jennings.
I know. I know.
Couple of
there's
good stories
in
about that,
as well,
isn't it?
exactly. But no, well, thanks so much for joining us, Liam, mate. It's good
Cheers,
to
Liam.
good to have you back.
Cheers,
I'm sure
Liam.
we'll do so soon as well. Do check out Liam's Fringe show when you can, or the show when you can when it's on tour, because absolutely brilliant show. And yeah, and thank you very much also for opening for me at the Kings. I forgot to talk about that. How did you find doing the Kings that night?
Did you do the Kings, Jennings?
Especially now, probably,
This is
or
what-
this week later on.
Chris always does this on Enjoy an Album, so it's like such a
big wrap
clean
up.
wrap up. It's so clean and so good. And he goes, "Oh, this is another thing I was want to talk about." Yeah, obviously,
Me and Chris have got the exact same personality.
Similar characters.
Basically, yin and yang, you know.
no, I mean, obviously, it was cool to be asked to do it. It was
Fun
like
night, wasn't it?
it was great. It was amazing. I'm buzzing. I mean, I've seen some of the footage,
Aye.
and it looks fucking next level. Like, so I'm excited to see the special, because the night was good. I mean, you guys weren't around for the day. He fucking did the show to nobody.
No, I
he's
didn't do the
psycho,
whole
this
show.
guy.
Do you know, I've not even looked at any of that. We're not using any of that footage. But do you know what it did? It just relaxed me.
He did the show.
Crazy.
He did all
That's
the bits
crazy.
on stage to fucking nobody.
That's
and
insane.
do you know what that was? That was years of Waverley Station conference gigs coming back to fucking help you out, put in the work.
100%. I've played to quiet rooms like this before. But no, I've not even looked at that. I've not even looked at any of that footage. We've not needed it. But what that did is it relaxed me enough. Because when you're filming something, you're just like basically going, I need to get these things word perfect. And if I stumble over my lines at any point, it's going to fuck the whole thing. Because I only had one chance at recording it. But that just put me at ease. And then I just went out and I just done the show. And I came off stage and I was like, I don't think we don't need it.
Yeah.
I didn't practice at the stand, I just did it and took the rough with the smooth. And there's loads of things I would change, but fuck it.
And there you go. Well, those specials probably, if not now, then very soon. But aye, well, listen again. Thanks a lot for joining us, Liam. As ever, you can like and subscribe on YouTube and give us a 5-star review on Apple Podcasts and Spotify. And send any question you've got to us. Our email address, which is somelapod@gmail.com. And follow us at somelapod on Instagram, TikTok, and Twitter. You'll be cut out of that entire bit.
Liam was doing
Maybe just
showcasing
keep
his
it in.
range there.
Yeah, so,
Thanks very much, Liam. Thanks for
Thank
coming
you
on.
so
Thank you
much,
guys.
Liam.
Thanks a lot.
Thanks,
Cheers, man.
guys.
It's been a
Speak to you soon.
pleasure.
Thanks, guys.